My name's John. This is my spiritual path, and what I'm going to try to do here, I'm going to try to edit this so that I'm doing multiple takes, and we're going to see how that goes. So let me just give you a brief overview of what I'm going to do today. These are 6 tips you can use to improve your mindfulness in your everyday life. I have a mantra that I use. It comes from Buddhism and my studies of Buddhism, and it's that we want to make our daily life our spiritual life. So these are 6 tips that you can use to be more mindful, more present, and hopefully have a better day. So let's get started. And I'm going to pause here. We'll see if I do this right. Okay, so the first step, or the first tip, is keeping a daily gratitude practice. I like to do my gratitude practice first thing in the morning when I wake up. And I find that by doing it first thing in the morning when I wake up, I'm setting the intention and I'm really framing that day to be a quality day. This comes from Buddhism, but I really want to stress you don't necessarily have to be a Buddhist to practice any of these tips. These are just great strategies you can use to improve your day. That morning gratitude practice is something I do when I first wake up in the morning. And with any type of gratitude practice, or really anything you do in regards to mindfulness, you really want to focus on how you're doing it. So mindfulness, just for me, what that means is bringing yourself into the present moment. When we're not mindful, we're mindless, and we're forgetful. We're practicing forgetfulness. And that's just kind of going through your day randomly, not really paying attention to what's going on, and that can really, it doesn't create a quality day. You're constantly moving from one activity to the next without really stopping and pausing and figuring out, how you can make your day better. And if you hear a lot of noise in the background, my husband's in the kitchen making dinner right now, so we'll we're gonna let him do his thing, and I'm gonna do my best not to bug him because this is the first time I'm recording in the living room. So yeah, and that's my plant right there. That decided to sneak in the shot today. So kind of cool. I like it so far. Let's keep going. I think I was talking about tip number 1, which is gratitude. So how we're going to practice this is we're going to sit up at the edge of our bed when we first wake up in the morning, and we're going to make sure that we have our feet on the floor, and we're going to make sure that we give ourselves time to pause and really feel the weight of our feet on the floor. And that's going to serve as our anchor. And when you start to feel the weight of your feet on the floor, now then you're ready to sort of bring yourself into that present moment. You're going to take a deep breath, and you're going to ask yourself a simple question. Why are you grateful for today? Now, whatever answer bubbles up to the surface, that's your answer. It doesn't take any more than 5, maybe 10 seconds at the most. But I really want to stress that in Buddhism, we really trained ourselves to think about the fact that any particular day could be your last day. And what I mean by that is we don't know exactly when we're going to pass away. And so because we don't know what specific date that is, we can be fearful and afraid of that information, that one day we're going to pass away and die, or we can sort of accept that as our reality and use that strategically to help us have a better day. So because we don't know which day is going to be our last day, we want to make every day as meaningful as possible. This is also a practice that comes out of Stoicism too. Don't necessarily have to be a Buddhist to practice any of these things. They're great techniques and strategies, but just bear in mind, and I'm talking really fast right now, I apologize. Bear in mind that you're just pausing and reflecting on that day so that you can have a quality day. I find that when I do this, my whole day changes. I go from sort of being stressed out and overwhelmed to just anchoring my day in a little bit more resolve to experience the present moment. So I'm going to pause here, and we're going to go to step number 2, which is the actual morning meditation practice. Let's see if I do this correctly. So I'm standing a little bit further back now. We'll see how I do with this. I'm really curious to see what the final outcome here is going to be, and if I can do this successfully. My goal is to take all these clips and splice it together and make an actual video. So we'll see how I do. But step number 2 is the actual meditation, the morning meditation practice. Now, I am not going to explain how to meditate in this video, but I do want to stress that, sometimes when I talk to people about meditation, they kind of think that I'm sort of introducing these new agey ideas. And just bear in mind that meditation has been practiced for thousands of years all over the planet Earth. It's only in the last 20 years that we've really began to understand the scientific benefits, but even monks and nuns thousands of years ago figured out the benefits of these activities, and there's no reason we can't apply them in our life today. So what I'm going to do again is just talk a little bit about how I meditate. And what I do, there are certain steps that I go through before I meditate just to make sure that I have a quality meditation experience. The first thing that I do, I don't know why I got myself in the habit of doing this, but I just brush my teeth. I like the feeling of having a clean mouth, and if I don't brush my teeth and I'm trying to meditate, I get distracted really easily. So brushing my teeth. The next thing that I'll do is just set a strong intention for that meditation activity. That's actually kind of a critical step. Setting that meditation and again, anchoring ourselves in some deeper truth is really powerful. It not only helps us frame that meditation experience, but it kind of sets a tone for the rest of the day as well. The next thing that I do is I'm going to go to a familiar location where I usually meditate, get in my meditation posture. I'm going to sit down. I use the Calm app or the Headspace app to help me meditate. I like both of those apps. I've learned a great deal from practicing with those. I haven't really had the benefit of actually learning from a meditation teacher yet. So when that happens, I'll certainly let you guys know about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and I just do basic breathing meditation. It's the most basic form of meditation. It's sometimes called focus meditation, and I'm just counting the breath. So it's 1 on the inhale, 2 on the exhale, 3 on the inhale, 4 on the exhale, and I do that to a count of 10. Sometimes I'll turn it into a game and I'll see how high I can count before I get distracted. Remember, meditation is not about shutting off the mind. It's an extremely common misconception. When we're meditating, we're thinking about, well, we're not really thinking about anything. We're not really trying to do anything. We just want to become aware of when we get distracted by those thoughts or those emotions. And when you do find yourself distracted, and you will, you go back to 1 and you start again. Sometimes I'll turn it into a game where I'll start at 1 and I'll see how high I can count before I get distracted. I think right now my goal, or not goal, but the highest I've gotten is 15. And then usually I'll get distracted and I just go back to 1 and I start again. It's a very kind process. When I begin again, I'm just beginning again. That's all it is. Starting over again, starting fresh. I'm not upset or angry that I got distracted because I understand that's just how the mind works. And you might wonder, well, why is that beneficial? That's a whole other video that I'll do on that. But, just for right now, if you want to start your day with basic breathing meditation, the last thing that I'll say is when you're finished meditating, and for me in the morning, I only meditate for about 5 minutes. So when that meditation experience is over, there's my husband in the background. We want to sort of pause at the end of that meditation experience and just sit with that feeling. That feeling that we get after we're finished meditating, that's probably the closest to being truly mindful we're going to be, at least during the morning. So it's a great way to anchor yourself in mindfulness, and you want to take that spirit of awakeness or aliveness or mindfulness with you throughout the rest of your day. So with that, I'm going to pause and we're going to come back and do step number 3, which is donating. So let's talk about step number 3 or tip number 3, which is donating. So when you donate, and again, this isn't a concept that comes out of Buddhism. So Buddhism teaches us that the more we give of ourselves, the more we receive. The more we give, we also receive, or the more we give, the richer we become. We grow rich in spirit, and we really want to make sure that when we're donating, we're doing so through a sense of sincerity. So if you're, now, giving money is not always a wise or appropriate thing to do, so you can donate your time, your money, or your resources. And what I like to do at some point during the day is I'll just do a friendly text message to a family member or a friend. I try to remember to call my mom. She always appreciates that. And this is just a great way to sort of anchor my day in some measure of, like I'm connecting these principles to other people. I'm giving back to other people. And I really do feel better after I do this. Sometimes it's a text message, sometimes I'll go on YouTube and I'll just leave some random person a nice comment. And that satisfies that activity from that particular day for me. Venerable Nick, who is a monk that I follow out of Thailand, a Buddhist monk, what he does every time he finishes a meditation, well, what he did before he joined the monkhood, I should say, is he would go to the bank and cash in like $100 bill and get like a bunch of ones. And then he would sort of take those ones every time he finished meditating, and he would put it in a jar. And then when he went to temple that particular week, he would take all the money that he had raised and he would donate that. So that's a great way to incorporate like financial resources as well. I haven't done it yet just because I haven't started going to a temple, but I definitely want to try that. So that's donating. We're going to pause here, and then I'm going to see what's next on my list. I hope that I'm not talking too fast. One of the comments that I got in a previous video was somebody liked how calm that I was and that I spoke with a sense of calm. I don't want to rush through these necessarily, but I understand people are busy. And so let me get on to tip number 4. Tip number 4 is going for some type of nature walk, so walking outdoors. I love doing this. This is another great practice that I do or try to do every single day. I don't always get to this particular activity, but when I do, I just feel so much better. It's a great way to get your daily exercise in, and for some reason, and I don't really know the science behind this, it does come from sort of Buddhist philosophy, that just being in nature helps improve our overall mood. And it's just a great way to bring yourself into that, back into the present moment. You can do walking meditation, which is kind of fun, and that's just where you're, again, focusing your breath or focusing your steps, or just being aware of your body as you're walking. I don't know too much about that. If you want more specific information, I'll see if I can find that and throw it in the links to this video. But right now, my focus in this video is just editing quality, so we're gonna just keep that focused. That's kind of walking meditation. I like to go to the park. I love this park by my house. I love going there. Every time I go there, I'm around just the most diverse group of people imaginable. People from every background, every color, every age, and we're all together in this place, and it's always harmonious. And, people are at the dog park, couples are walking around the park, I'm doing my laps, and I notice that the feeling that I get when I'm there, it's just a feeling of gratitude, and I just feel great. It's great to see people being great to each other. So, and bringing that into my daily life, seeing that every single day, can't ask for anything more. So my next tip is your evening meditation. Evening meditation is usually something I do after dinner, and I'm starting to lose my natural light here, so, sorry about that. I'm trying. I will get there. Evidently, I can color correct in these videos too, so we'll see if I can do that. But yeah, evening meditation, a lot like morning meditation. Same set of habits I do, or practices. I brush my teeth first, set a strong intention, and yeah, again, I would stress, if you think meditation is kind of weird or new agey, just remember that people have been doing this for thousands of years. It's only new to you. And whatever sense of weirdness or anxiety you might feel about doing that, you might just be projecting that onto other people when in fact it's just your own discomfort with trying something new. Anytime we start something new, and I learned this from my cousin Sydney, who is a life coach, and I've been working with her, we always feel that bit of resistance. But in Buddhism, we've learned that the obstacle is in fact the path. So when you start to feel that resistance, that's when you want to practice acceptance. Accept that you feel that and learn from it. What is it trying to teach you? Most likely, if you're feeling a lot of resistance to meditation, it's just because it's a new exercise. And even now, even though I've been meditating consistently for about 3 years, I still feel it. And I have to go through the motions of just accepting that resistance. There's a lot that we have to do during the course of our day. We don't always have time to stop and pause and sit in one spot and basically not do anything. But I promise you, that's the point of the activity. Give yourself permission to take that break. Let your mind be a mind for a few moments. Let it experience some measure of release, letting go, and just that general sense of awareness that comes from meditation. I think if you do that, in evening meditation, I do it for a little bit longer, so it's like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. And again, just basic breathing meditation. There are lots of different types of meditations you can learn how to do. The Headspace and Calm app will teach you a lot of those if you want to learn more advanced techniques. But for this particular, just for a basic, I don't say basic in a bad way. I mean in a very good way, actually. Sometimes the simplest things that we do bring the most joy and meaning into our life, and they have the most benefit for us. And the tip here is don't overlook the small stuff. The small stuff is actually where I found the deepest sense of spirituality. And learning how to focus on the small stuff and make the small stuff more meaningful is just a great way that I've been able to prove my overall spiritual practice. So yeah, we're gonna move on to our last tip. Everything's going well so far. We'll see what happens when I edit the video. So our last tip or technique or just habit you want to try to get yourself into is the end of day reflection on your merit. So this is another concept that comes out of Buddhism. I learned this from following Venerable Nick. I try to incorporate this into every single day. And I find that when I do this, not only am I feeling a sense of gratitude for the day that I just had, and I'm reflecting on the stuff that I accomplished and framing things in a very positive light for myself, which just improves my overall mood. I'm taking time out to feel that merit, you know. Now in Buddhism, what we're taught to do is give our merit away. We want to, because again, the more we give, the richer we become. But you don't necessarily have to do that if you're not a Buddhist or you're not comfortable calling yourself that. That's completely understandable. This activity is still super beneficial because how you end your day, that's probably how you're going to start the next day. So ending your day by reflecting on all the things you accomplished that particular day is just a great activity to get yourself into. One thing I'll say about it, again, technique matters. So before I go to bed, what I do is I journal. I turn it into a journaling activity. You don't necessarily have to do that if you don't want to. You can do that just lying in bed, closing your eyes, and taking 30 seconds to just go through your day, think through your day, and think through all the things that you accomplished that particular day. When you feel that sense of gratitude or that sense of accomplishment, sit with that feeling. Let that feeling permeate throughout your whole body and your whole existence. I like to do that by journaling. I like the process of journaling. And I throw some affirmations in there as well, but that's a whole other video. So yeah, those are the 6 techniques that I use. Just to wrap this up, I'll see if I can include some sort of list in the video. I think that would be awesome, maybe on the leaf. I don't know, that might be a bit advanced for me. My next step is to edit this though and figure out all the ins and outs. The last thing I will say that can be super beneficial is creating some type of chart for yourself, an anchor chart. Our days are very busy. We're constantly going, our minds are racing, trying to get to the next activity. Having that anchor chart in place, giving yourself time to stop and reflect and go back and look at something, it's just going to anchor yourself in those practices that we're trying to develop for ourselves. So, thank you for watching. I really appreciate you taking the time. I'm going to try to make a quality YouTube video now, and so when you guys watch this online, if I did everything right, it should be an amazing experience for you. At least I hope so. Let me just wrap up what I went through real quick. So tip number 1 was your morning gratitude, morning meditation, some type of donating activity, your walk, so your nature walk, your walk outside, that that evening meditation, and the last thing, you're reflecting on your merit for that particular day. You want to do that right before bedtime. And again, if you can create a chart for yourself, something you can go back to and just reference throughout the day to make sure that you're actually doing these things, that's going to be really helpful. The last tip that I have here is try to do it with some measure of sincerity. No one's going to check in. You're not doing this for anybody else. You're doing this for yourself. So be sincere about it. And I think, when we do things with a sense of sincerity, that just makes all the difference in the world. Again, that's a concept from Buddhism. Just that measure of sincerity is really what makes these practices spiritual. So I hope this was beneficial for you all. thank you for watching. If you like this and you want to go on this journey with me, please subscribe. I have 4 subscribers right now. If you're my mom, my cousin Katie, my cousin Sydney, my Aunt Kevin, whoever you happen to be, those are the folks who typically watch these. My friend Richard, my friend Kim. Thank you guys for watching and supporting this stuff. It's been really cool. If my friends and family are the only ones that ever watch these, that's totally okay with me. I enjoy the feedback, and I'm glad that I'm sharing this stuff with people, with friends and family, and anybody that should find this on the internet. So if you like it, subscribe, and maybe like the video. Just helps me understand what I'm doing well. And yeah, if you have anything you want to add or any other tips that you use to make yourself more present, more mindful throughout your day, throw it in the comments below. Thanks guys. Have a great day.